Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So this is the last drawing we have to do this year, and let's see what kind of tool you need for this class. Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay, so after we done the pencil outline for our watercolors, okay, so let's see the tools that we need to use for the coloring. Okay, first of all, we are not using the pencil to do the color. We need to use the brush. So make sure the brush is very soft, okay? If you have the brush like the grass, very dry and very hard, that is not for the watercolor. That's for painting. All right, so make sure your watercolor brush is correct. It has to be soft. All right, so I need to have a big one, the middle one, and the teeny tiny one for the small area. All right, so that's the brushes. Of course, we need to have the water, and I would suggest that you can have 2 containers for the water, and make sure they are the cool water when we need to. One for washings, one for apply on the watercolors. Okay, so we can keep the one of them looks always clean, and one for washing the dirty colors. All right, so it's better to have 2. All right, and we also need to have the towel. All right, so this is the fabric ones. I can reuse it all the time, so that's my watercolor. So you can see how dirty is it. Okay, and if you don't have the towel just for watercolor, you can have your paper napkin, but better to have the one that you can reuse it. All right, so we don't waste anything. All right, so of course you need to have the color. If sometimes the color looks like to the tube like this, you can scratch on the tray that you need. All right, so that's a container for my watercolors. And we need to mix the color or create the color. So you need to have a plate or a tray. Okay, so we always mix the color on the tray and the plate. So make sure you have the plate for that. Okay, all right, so that's it. You have everything. Brushes with different sizes, water, colors, towels, and the tray. All right, when you're ready, then we can start to do the colors. Okay, so find your drawing from last class, okay? The fireplace and with the trays in already, and there's no extra pencil line on this. It's clean, so you can prepare the watercolors tools and let's see the below. All right, so we will do some parts together, like we will do the fire, we will do the brakes together. All right, then I'm gonna teach you how to color on the gift box, then all the decoration. I will teach you how to do it, but all of us has a different background, so you might not use the same color, but the technique will be similar. All right, so let's start with the fire. I need to have the yellow, so find your yellow colors. All right, find your yellow colors, and just a little bit, not too greedy, just like this teeny tiny one. All right, then find your brush, a nice brush. Apply the water on the tray or on the plate. So you see I have a little bit water on this, right? I have the water and mix with the yellow. So it's like the yellow juice, right? Very watery. So that's a watercolor. Make sure you mix the water and the color properly. All right, so where I'm gonna apply the yellow. All right, let's see. I have to apply the yellow inside the fireplace, and everywhere, even the log, even on the fire. Okay, that's the light, so we color with the light first. All right, and where else? So we have the light coming out, right? So I'm gonna use the yellow to color at the front here. That's it, very watery. Doesn't matter if your floor is another color, but let's color a little bit yellow and on the brake as well. Okay, And that's it. Just leave it. We are not going to do the fire anymore. We have to wait it's dry, then we will come back to do it. Okay, so now I'm gonna teach you how to do the braids. The braid, we will do is from the top and around it after. Okay, so you can choose any color. Some people has an orange braid, some people has white and gray, and a little bit brown, a little bit green. Doesn't matter which one you like the most. So choose the color you like. All right, I'm gonna use a little bit orange, so I have to prepare orange. All right, a little bit brown. See, all the color I have just a little bit. I didn't using a lot. And I have two different brown color. I'm gonna use them. I use both of them. They look similar, but one will look brighter, one looks darker. All right, and I'm gonna use a little bit purple because I want to create a gray color. So which means I need the green. Anyway, I need the green because I have the plant. So I'm going to prepare the green colors. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna color on the top here. You can use any color you want, okay? It's not really matter. I'm gonna create a gray color. So adding the water on the plates. First of all, purple. And green. Then I got my gray color. So purple plus green equal gray. All right. So I'm gonna color the gray color on top right here. Let's see, all right? So it will look like that. I color the gray color. See, very slow. I'm not going to color the pink. I skip it. And keep going. All right, be patient. If you have lots of decorations on it, you have to slow down. And I didn't use a tiny brush or either big brush. I used my middle brush. Just one single color. All right, and same thing at the bottom. My yellow is totally dry, so I can use the gray color to color out the middle. This will be too dry. I have to add a little bit of water into it. See, when I apply the gray color, I will see a little bit yellow on my concrete. That's great because that's the light I'm looking for. Okay, that's the light I'm looking for. Okay, and where I need to color with the gray color. I have no more gray. I have to mix it even more. Green plus purple, then you got the green. All right, so where I need to apply the shadow, I'm gonna do, let's see. I'm gonna trace, too big, you can see. I'm gonna trace outside of the orange. Let's see. I trace outside the orange. Just a brush. And on top of the hemming stuff, looks like that. See, because the fire is at the bottom, right? So I'm not going to color anything under it because where's the light coming from? The shadow is going to the other side. All right. So only adding the shadow right on the top, nothing below. See, nothing below. All the shadow is going up on the top here. All the shadow is going up to there. All right, and same thing. If you have something on the wall, we're gonna have the shadow on the top because the fire is on the bottom. So my shadow on the frame is on the top here. But how about the gift? How about the gift? It will be on the right side because The fire is on the left. The shadow is on the opposite side. And below, because now the fire is on the top. So I have the shadow at the bottom. Okay, same thing for the rocks. If I have the rocks there, then I have the shadow. Then if you have something on the left, you will have the shadow on the left. See, nothing on the right because that's where the light coming from, right? So I'm gonna have the shadow right there. And on the top of the fireplace. Alright, then we're done with the shadow. So now you can take about a minute to prepare the color for the break. I already have the brown and the orange. Remember that? I'm gonna make my color become brown and orange like the fireplace. So now you have about a minute to prepare the colors so we can color the breaks. Alright, so before I color the breaks, let me do the bigger version right here. Okay, so first of all, if you want to have the color with the breaks, okay, let's see. I have my orange. Remember, I'm gonna use the orange. So again, mix with the water properly. And we're gonna color around. Easy. Then wash my brush, dry my brush, try it. If you don't have too much water, that's perfect. Now bring the color to the middle. Okay, then you see, I just dry my brush, okay, and remove the extra water from the breaks at the middle. So you have dark, medium, light. And I'm gonna use my orange. See, I applied the orange a little bit. Then do the stipplings. So you will see here has the textures. Like the braid has a very rough skin. You have to do it when your paper is a little bit wet. It looks like that. Alright, so one more time. This time I can make my break mixing with a little bit brown so it will look a little bit darker. So each break can has a little bit different color. So I mix the brown into my orange, so it's a little brownish. Same thing, I color around. See, the color is very similar, but it's different now. Okay, I color around. And wash the brush. Dry my brush. Try it. Okay, not too much water. Then bring the color to the middle. Right, so the middle will look brighter. Now, using the brown color and add the stippling at around the corner. You have to do it when it's still wet, so you will have a little bit texture, right? All right. So what if your break is like white? All right, that's it. Red, yellow. And blue, you got green. If you don't have green, green plus purple, you got gray color. All right, let's see. Same thing. We're gonna use the gray color to trace around. All Alright, and wash the brush, dry the brush, try the color at the middle, then bring the color to the middle. Okay, so this one gonna have a break, great break. Same thing, I'm gonna add the stippling. Alright, so I can just color even a little bit smaller, so my break will look more white. See, for the gray color and the white color break are using the same gray, but the gray one I color more gray around so the color will look darker. But for the white breaks, I just color a very thin line, right? And use more water. Then same thing, I do the stipplings around on the white break. So you can compare. This one is more white and this one is more gray. Alright, so now use the same technique to apply on our break wall. Okay, even the bottom here or on the around the door. Okay, any color you want. Alright, I know it's a little bit tired. We have a lot of break to do, right? So let's see. I'm using a different color, but they are the family, right? They are all warm color. I have a little bit yellow orange, orange, light orange, a little bit orange, brown color, but they all look like matching to each other, right? I didn't make the color go too crazy. Sometimes I use purple, green, yellow, red, blue, like the rainbow. Try to keep the color simple because we have lots of decorations, right? So save the color for the other decorations. So keep your fireplace look simple. All right, so take your time. So feel free when you're done with the break, and when they dry, you can fill up the gap with the gray color. All right, and I want my fireplace on the top. Just a little bit browny color as well. And I do have the fire, so I have to color the yellow around the fires. That's the light. Don't forget it. Right, if you have something too tiny and you don't have the small brush to do the colors, then you can use the pencil crayon to help. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video right here, then I can teach you how to color the gift and the decorations around. All right, so we have to make sure everyone is on the same place. So finish the bright color first, finish the fireplace, then I'm gonna teach you to color the rest of them. All right, so about the gift, you can use any color for the gift box, right? So let's see. I use the purple. Same thing, I have to mix that with the water. Everything's with the watercolor, right? So water, so I can color half. If I have the ribbon on it, don't color on it. Wash the brush, dry the brush, and bring the color down. All right, and bring the color down. So you have dark, medium, light. Simple, easy. All right, so now you can do the same thing for all the small area. Color a little bit on the top. Wash the brush, dry the brush, always dry the brush, and bring the color down. All right, then you can begin. Alright, so let's teach you how to do the fire. You need to have yellow. If you have no more yellow, you have to prepare the yellow, orange, and red. Okay, make sure you have these 3 colors. And I run off the orange, but I do have the yellow, so I'm gonna save the yellow there. Alright, and let's see. I think my red is right here. Alright, just a little bit, just a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna wipe my tray so you can see how I do the color. I already have too much color. You're supposed to have the same as well. Otherwise, it shows me that you are not mixing the color on the tray. Alright, just wipe a little bit space out. Alright, so how can I do the fire? First of all, we start with the yellow. Okay. So I use my smaller brush because the fire is not really that big. Let's see where I'm gonna use the yellow. The smallest one right here. Alright, then you don't have to wait it's dry because we're gonna use the orange mixed with the water as well. Alright, then color the second layer. See, I haven't touched the yellow yet. I just want to have the shape first. Then, when I touch the yellow, you will see the yellow is coming out and coming in. So that's great, that's blending. And then the last color I'm using is red. With the water to dry. Mix them properly. Alright, so the last color, I trace the fire first. On the top, right? I trace the fire first. Then I can bring the color to touch the orange, so the orange will come in mixed with the red. So you have the blending color. Alright, so that's the fire. How about the log at the bottom? So remember we have the brown color. If you don't have the brown color, use the orange, mix a little bit green, then you got brown. Alright, so color the brown at the bottom. And I want to use a little bit lighter brown to color the rolling part because it's supposed to look a little bit brighter. Alright, then I'm gonna add in a little bit shadow, the gray color, remember? Green plus purple, then I have the little bit gray color under the log. Right there. And it's around. Try not to have too much white space, cover them. Alright, so that's the fire. So now you can start to color the outer decoration. If you have the window, you have to think about the time. Is in the morning or during the night or is in the afternoon. Okay, so now you should use a very small brushes. Alright, because you have lots of small items. So you shouldn't make your joint looks too messy or break your joint because you are using the wrong brush. Alright, now you can start to color your background with the small brush. Okay. Alright, so if you want to add the pattern on the gift box, you have to wait totally dry. Like this one is totally dry. I can use any other color I want and do some pattern on it. But you have to wait totally dry. Okay, if they are still wet and you just apply the pattern or the other graphics on it, it will just like blur it and you won't see any. Alright, so if you want to do some pattern like those, you have to wait totally dry. Even the pattern on the back of the wall. Alright, even you want to have the pattern of the wall, you can add in when they are totally dry. So sometimes we will have the wallpaper, right? So you can have the wallpaper, any that you want. So it won't make the joint won't look too empty. If you don't have too much decoration on the wall, then you can add some graphics, add some patterns. Pretend they are the wallpapers, and the joint will have more detail, even you don't have the decorations. Alright, and that will be our last joint for this year's. Alright, hopefully you like it. And you can find a spot to sign the name and write down the date. And that's everything for this year's.